in spite of these protesters.
Absolutely, sir. Requesting you to stay on with us as we're tracking some further updates. This time from within Israel itself, we're learning that protesters have gathered in Tel Aviv, calling on the Israeli government to ensure the return of 2 deceased hostages still held by Hamas in Gaza. This follows a US-mediated agreement that saw Hamas release 20 living hostages and pledge to return 28 bodies, but 2 still remain unaccounted for. Meanwhile, the death toll from the offensive in Gaza has surpassed 70,000, according to Gaza's health ministry. Despite ongoing accusations being traded of ceasefire violations, both sides have reaffirmed their commitment to the truce that was brokered by the United States of America. Remember, there was also a UN resolution, Security Council resolution, that was accepted unanimously. There was no veto power that was used by China and Russia either, who abstained from the vote. Let's, in fact, on that note, listen in to what families of the hostages that have yet to be returned had to say.
We will continue on a week-to-week basis think what is the best alternative and actions in order to bring back Langvili and the Thai citizen Lantilak in order to keep the pressure and the awareness on the topic. We will keep doing these types of demonstrations, rallies in different parts of Israel, and we always said from the beginning, all for one, one for all. And we will continue to do so until we get those 2 remaining hostages back to their families.
Well, we still have 2 last hostages held by Hamas, and I think we should try and come each Saturday or any other day of the week and be here and remind everybody that we need those 2 hostages back. We have to bring them back because this is our values. This is what, you know, the basic of us, of the people of Israel and the state of Israel. So we cannot let go. We have to make sure that we are bringing back these 2 hostages, that Hamas will bring them back to us.
Still with us on the broadcast is Mr. Sasha Masta. We've just heard about the families of the hostages who've still managed to maintain their composure after 2 years of trauma. They're still out emphasizing that one for all for one, awaiting the return of the remains of their loved ones that are still in Gaza at the moment. With this first phase not being entirely implemented, a broader plan already being approved by the UN Security Council, do you think this is a tactic by Hamas by not providing all the bodies back to Israel with 2 still left? Is it a tactic to delay the implementation of the second phase, which calls for disarmament?
Yeah, this is definitely a tactic used by Hamas to extract concessions and to play games with both Israel and the mediators to try and seek ways to survive and stay in power. And of course, they still believe and see a horizon where they will still be the rulers and the basically, yeah, in control of the Gaza Strip. So right now it's a critical situation because Hamas has already been violating the ceasefire after they didn't meet the 72 hours since the ceasefire began, where they had to return all of the deceased hostages. They actually released slowly. They started releasing bodies. We're now up to 26 deceased hostages that have returned, but they have kept saying that they don't know where they are. Then they try and bring in their terrorists into the Israel yellow line side to try and find the bodies. They already know where most of them are. In fact, I remember one of the videos that came out where they buried a body that they already had, and then they magically seemed to discover it and brought the Red Cross. So this is not a surprise to any of us here in Israel. It shouldn't be a surprise to the world either. And that's why the pressure should be on Hamas for the last 2 bodies to return, because if they don't, this is just going to be a tool and a tactic used by Hamas to deceive the world and to try and stay in power. And by doing so, it's going to bring more misery to the people of Gaza that deserve to be led not by Hamas terrorists, but by people that actually prioritize their lives and that prioritize their economic prosperity and actually seek a future side by side with Israel. So the two remaining bodies are very important. Doesn't matter if it is Israeli or Thai, each hostage is worth everything to
Yes.
us. And the families that have suffered for so long deserve the proper burial and closure with the return of their dear ones. And we just wish that they would have returned home alive.
Absolutely. So with that, I'd like to thank you for taking out time sharing your perspective with us on the broadcast today. On that note, viewers, we're shifting focus away from what's taking place in Israel to what's happening in Syria. We're now learning that Syria has marked 1 year since Islamist